We'll have confirmation of the teams in due course. Two very different clubs involved in this 1990 Cup final. The teams are about to arrive here, and here comes United. Right, there's the man, Alex Ferguson. There's Mark Hughes.
So much will depend on him being in form this afternoon.
They tend to leave him up the front by himself, rather, and pack the midfield. And where his strength is, he scores, of course, goals out of nothing. At the same time, he misses good chances. He seems to want to knock the casing off the ball every time, Mark Hughes, but he does either score absolutely fantastic goals or rather squander some useful chances.
Have him as 7-1 favourite to score today.
Well, if he's not scored so far, there's a good chance he might do it.
John Motson? He's not playing, is he?
Yeah. John Motson with Brian McClare there. He's getting his last facts and figures correct, isn't he, Motty?
This is the Crystal Palace players and the Crystal Palace captain there on the pitch, and Steve Coppell.
Gary O'Reilly of Crystal Palace, how does the atmosphere compare to what you expected?
It's great. I mean, there seems to be a lot of Crystal Palace support in here.
But once you get here at Wembley, in the atmosphere here, no matter if it's cup final or playing for England, I mean, your fitness shouldn't really be a worry. And
have a good game.
Thank you very much, Tony. Cheers.
John Pemberton of Crystal Palace. Mixed emotions for you. You were a United supporter not so long ago.
Yeah, that's right. If I wouldn't have been playing here today, I'd have been stood up there with them lads.
27,000 Manchester United fans here. That's 1,000 more than originally expected, because clubs like Everton, Liverpool and Oldham actually donated tickets or passed them on to Manchester United. There's their manager, Alex Ferguson, describing this as the biggest day of his life. And Steve Coppell, at 34, the youngest ever manager of an FA Cup final team. And what a moment it is for these Palace lads and their fans. The first time the club has been in the FA Cup final, and they're bound to get an appropriate reception. But now they're into the fresh air of Wembley, and just listen to this. A nice moment as Steve Coppell, a former Manchester United Cup finalist on 3 occasions, talks to his opposite number. They're great friends away from the tension of this occasion, the two managers. And so the first FA Cup final of the 1990s is about to get underway. Crystal Palace won the vote, or the toss I should say, for choice of colours, and they're wearing their familiar red and blue vertical stripes. A very nice strip it is too. Manchester United in all white, which their long-serving supporters will remind me they used in the finals of 1957, and although I don't think any of us go back that far, 1909 when they first won the Cup. So Palace start the game. Steve Coppell making a few notes. Of course, they sit so close to each other at Wembley, the two managers. Thorne O'Reilly's in there, and was it over the line? And it's a goal! Gary O'Reilly, after 19 minutes, it was in the net before Steve Bruce could get his foot to it. And Crystal Palace, the underdogs, have taken the lead in precisely the way many people expected. The free kick, I think it was bent in by Barber there. Whether that came off Pallister's head as well, I'm not quite sure. O'Reilly's taken the congratulations. It was bent in by Gray. And was that Pallister or O'Reilly? Anyway, Bruce couldn't keep it out, and Palace are in front. Ince. That's a good-looking ball for McClare. Wallace comes near post. Wallace. McClare. Robson. Goal! Brian Robson equalises for Manchester United after 35 minutes, and Captain Marvel is there again. Now, good play here. Danny Wallace just worked the ball out wide, The cross was delivered long to the far post, and Brian rolls a deflection off a defender as well there. It's one each, and as Robson gets the header in, that's John Pemberton, I think, was it? Or maybe the man in front of him that just diverted it to make it 1-1. And there is the half-time whistle, and the two teams in the 1990 FA Cup final go off level. It's Crystal Palace 1, Manchester United 1. Now then, Alex Ferguson with that good rapport still with the Manchester United supporters after all the trials and tribulations he's been through this season. But he'll have had some words to say, I'm sure, in that Manchester United dressing room at half-time, the effect of which we may now see. Webb. Palace dwelling. Wallace. A ricochet. Hughes! 2-1 to Manchester United. And a devastating finish by Mark Hughes. And I have to say the Palace defence were pussyfooting around a bit there, really. They had their chance to clear. Thorne didn't do so. And when it came to Hughes' left foot, that was a deadly goal scorer's instinct. After 62 minutes, Mark Hughes scores his 14th goal of the season, his first in the FA Cup this season, and it puts Manchester United into a 2-1 lead. And take nothing away from Hughes, that was first class. But Crystal Palace's manager told them yesterday, whatever you do, make sure you concentrate for the whole 90 minutes. And just for a few seconds there, they lost it, and they paid the price. And Crystal Palace are going to make a change. Phil Barber is going off, number 7, and Ian Wright, the whiz kid from Woolwich, who made a huge impression last season when Palace won promotion, but who's twice had a hairline fracture of a shin bone and has only played in 4 of the last 22 matches. He's missed the last 10, in fact. This is his moment now to prove that he's fit and able to make a contribution. And there's a man who knows that as every minute goes by, he and his assistant Archie Knox get a little bit nearer to their first trophy at Manchester United, and we all know just how much is at stake there. Now here's Wright, his first chance to show what he can do, and he's through. It's Wright. Oh, what an impact by the substitute. It's 2-2, and it's Ian Wright who has sent the Palace supporters into ecstasy. The ball played through to him in not the best position, I have to say, but look what he made of this. He turned the defender beautifully and slid it wide of Jim Leighton, and that was in the 73rd minute, and it was just 3 minutes after Ian Wright had come on. And what a lovely individual goal. There was a touch of the Ricky Villas about that one, Trevor.
Well, he looks pretty pleased there, I'm not surprised. I do believe it was his first touch, wasn't it? I can't actually, he'd been running around as you do as a substitute, trying to get a touch. Here he is, and really Gary Pallister caught very flat-footed. You shouldn't let a striker turn in on goal like that. You should funnel him to the touchline. He kept his head well, kept it low, and really that's it. That is him at his best. Turns inside, he's so quick, always on his toes, sees that corner, and here, not surprisingly, he's just about, the shot froze there, but he just about went on one of his runarounds, which all goal scorers do at Wembley. And well, he scored the goal that got them a 2-1 lead. He probably ruefully walking back there, thinking to himself, pity they've equalised, I could have got the headlines. Replay, it seems to be a saga this season, doesn't it? But certainly a very good second half, and there's the final whistle, and both managers now going to do a lot of talking just to lift their side in these extra 30 minutes.
Bobby Charlton and the other Manchester United directors will be more than a little concerned here about the outcome, because, as I said earlier on, the club is going through something of a turbulent time at board level as well. Webb. O'Reilly, Salako, who's playing further forward now that Shaw is in an orthodox left-back position here. In fact, Salako is playing wide on the left in Barber's old position. Phelan is challenging him. Right! Goal! It's Ian Wright again! Palace are in front at 3-2. And Steve Coppell has made... No, he's made one of the great substitutions. And the Palace players have been called back by the referee. It's a goal, all right, but they've been called back from celebrating. Don't let me take it away from Ian Wright. What a good finish, but it was interesting there. In the light of current crowd control, Alan Gunn ran behind the goal and pulled them all back from the crowd. It's 3-2 to Crystal Palace. Ian Wright has scored his second in the 92nd minute, and they've got to bring on Robbins now.
Well, one substitution has meant that the other one's going to be brought on as well, because a really good cross from John Salako there, and Ian Wright getting in behind Stevie Bruce. He wondered whether Jim Leighton could get to the cross, but it was a really good deep cross.
To bark out some more instructions, and Alex Ferguson has not moved a muscle at the moment. The message from Steve Coppell yesterday at the private training session they had in the afternoon was, listen, they are 3-2 ahead, and their supporters are preparing for one of the great celebrations in South London. In fact, it's a South London boy who's put them in this position. Ian Wright, born in Woolwich. Wembley bathed in sunshine now. Palace leading 3-2. Robson. Webb to Wallace. Hughes goes through the middle, chance here for 3-3. Mark Hughes! He scores his second of the game, and Manchester United have saved themselves. The ball just chucked through by Danny Wallace, and the central defenders gave him too much space. O'Reilly wasn't close enough, and Hughes steered it past Martin. And so what Ian Wright has done for Palace, Mark Hughes has done for Manchester United. He's scored twice, and with just 7 minutes of extra time to go, the score is 3-3. Corner, well, Palace have settled for that. We've had the 30 minutes of extra time. We're into time being added on for stoppages. Thorne's flick. And, Mark Bright it was, with Jim Leighton scrambling it behind. Or did he? United are arguing the referee's given a corner and they don't think it was. They're saying it went straight past from Mark Bright. You can probably see from this, well, it hit the post, didn't it? Corner again. Madden. Thorne won't reach it this time. And the referee has blown, and the FA Cup final of 1990 ends in a draw. Mark Hughes with 2 goals for Manchester United as Alex Ferguson's team saved themselves in extra time. And Ian Wright with 2 goals for Crystal Palace, who were 1-0 up, 2-1 down, 3-2 up, and whose fans in the end applaud not just their own players, like Gary O'Reilly, but everybody on the pitch, I would think, for a stirring, gripping encounter.